We are really excited to get to open this single track trail today. I've been here 8.5 years, and I have had the chance to open an amazing number of park projects. Iowa City has been investing in all 50 parks, and it's been a great time. But this one is super special to me because this one was designed and built and implemented by these guys right over here, our own park staff. And they're going to get more recognition, but give them a hand to start with. I have not ridden it yet, but I'm told it's amazing, and just walking it, I'm like, how did they even think of this stuff? So we're really excited to do that. I also want to make sure that I recognize the Carl Baker family that are here as well. Yep. The things you see here at the entrance, the bench, the bike station, the sign, was made possible by a memorial donation for Carl. And we appreciate that from the bicycle community. I know many of you donated when he passed away, and we're happy to have that here as part of our facility. Lots of other people to recognize and thank that are here. We will have our commission members, and they'll come up in a second when we do the ribbon cutting. I don't think we have any city council members, but we do thank the council for their support of this and many other parks and recreation projects. And then a lot of bike groups that are, I think, represented here today. We have Think Iowa City. I know Josh is here, and some of the staff from the Sports Commission. We have Bike Iowa City. We have Bicycles of Iowa City. We have the Bike Library. We have World of Bikes. We have I-Corps. And I'm sure I've forgotten a few of you. But thank you all for your support and making bicycling and having events and facilities like this such a great place. I'm now going to turn it over to Tyler Baird, our park superintendent. It was kind of his brainchild to help make this happen. He's going to give you a little bit more information about it.
Thank you, Julie. And I can't take all the credit for it. A lot of people have been wanting something like this in Iowa City for quite a few years. My predecessor, Zach Hall, was looking for a spot always too, and we started brainstorming spots before he left and I moved into his role, so this was kind of a continuation of that. We've had a couple of assistant superintendents of parks that have helped out through the process, and then really our staff that has built this has been the most integral part to getting what you see out there. They used a whole lot of creativity. So Steve over here did most of the built features, kind of took the lead on that. Nate took the lead on the rest of the trail that connects everything and some of the layout. And then they had quite a few other staff members, both permanent and seasonal and temporary staff, that helped them throughout this process. It's been a bit of a delayed process. It's fitting that we have rain because we wanted to do this in June, but when the river came up, it flooded a lot of this front section here. You will see when you get in there, one section is still closed off. We hope as it keeps drying here to have that section open. You can still do the full loop. It's just kind of the side loop that we're calling the river run because it goes along the little creek inlet here and the river. So it'll be beautiful when you get to see that as well because you can see the river along that section. It's pretty flat there, but has some nice scenery. So you'll get to enjoy the rest of it though today. Let's see. It's all one-way traffic besides your entry and exit points. So you'll see signs that say do not enter. So we'd like to all of us here help and enforce that in a way to keep it safe out there because it is fairly narrow in some sections. So that was important to us to make a one-way trail, one-way loop that is just a more friendly experience when you're riding out there. Don't worry about someone coming around the corner the other way at you. I rode it a couple of times today just to do a final test, and I know Nate rode it a few times as well. When I linked together the skills feature and some of the other spots, depending on which direction you go, you're going to be at about 1.5 miles. But what really makes this course special is all the skills features, the incorporation of the old Ice House Foundation. So that's in the middle there. That's a very unique kind of aspect to it and something that kind of makes it stand out from any other trails that that I know of in the area. We have a couple of different areas that have some intermediate skill levels. So those are signed with blue. The rest are signed with green. So just do what skill features that you're comfortable with. We've got something for all types of riders. We've seen all different types of bikes on it. I personally ride a gravel bike on it, but we've had people riding fat tires, mountain bikes, so all of those it's accessible for. I might not take a road bike out there. There's a few spots that would get a little iffy, but enjoy it with whatever bike you like the best. Let's see, I want to make sure I don't miss anything. We did this on a fairly low budget. Staff did a really good job of making sure we kept it on budget, and that meant we could get more skills features by not spending a lot on the rest of it. So thanks to our staff putting in their time, we were able to provide more of those built features out there. Not just features that were kind of the standard purchase features, but features that staff built with their own imagination as well. And what I'm standing on here, this decking, is urban lumber, and some of the lumber over here came from the site. Others came from other projects we had that were salvaged and reused. So staff used a lot of ingenuity to make those materials work and keep it from being a resource heavy type of project as well. One last thing before I get to my final piece is after the ice house was here, the Novotny house sat on part of the foundation. So those of you who have been in Iowa City for a long time may remember Novotny Cycle when it was downtown. And we did not make the connection right away, but then I got a call one day, a voicemail that said, here's my name, call me, and that's all I got. So I didn't know what I was going to be calling the person about even, but it turned out to be really cool. So Rick Vandenberg, who was stepson of the Novotny that owned the bike shop, contacted me. He lived here when it was a house on the foundation, and not only did they have the cycle shop, but he became a professional cyclist. So it was really cool that he made that connection. He saw what we were doing when he was back one time and wanted to thank us because he said his dad would have been super thrilled with all of this. So sometimes we luck into cool things without knowing it, and that was one of them. And he did provide a little thing I'm going to read to you all. He really wanted to be here. He had some things come up that he wasn't able to join us. He's currently living in Colorado, but I wanted to read you something he wrote. So he says, "Welcome to my house. When I was in second grade, my mom married Leland Novotny, the owner of this house and property and the owner of Novotny's Cycle Center located downtown. At any time, there would be 300 Schwinn bicycles stored in the basement on racks. So when you're in there, you ride right through where all those bicycles were stored, which is pretty cool. He said the basement of the house was their warehouse. And he raced for Schwinn, and growing up here was awesome for him. Down the road, they had the Trimbles, the Gerards, the Moores, the Gilpins, and Professor Delmar. And if he wanted to go visit them, he had to go down the road that was between kind of a road that's long, kind of grown over, but he would call it the Bat Trail, because the Bat Trail had about 80 yards down it. There was a tree stump that was 4 to 5 feet across and 12 feet tall, and this is where the monsters lived. And he said he had to be very brave to sneak past the stump as a 12-year-old in the dark. And every time he would take the trail, there would be a giant owl in the tree to the northwest of the house hooting, "Don't go, don't go," trying to warn him. He had a gravel driveway down the river where there was a boat dock, and during the summer he'd go down there and see the lights of the Ferris wheel in City Park, if those of you remember when that was there. And they'd watch the kiddie train go around and see the lights of the zoo. So any of you who have been here a while would remember the zoo as well. Back by the creek to the southeast is where a family of deer lived, and every year they would go see the baby deer grazing and running around. And occasionally it would flood, so there was our omen right there. Nothing like the floods you have now, he says, but pier behind the house, they tied up a couple of John boats, and that's where he learned to bow fish right in their backyard. And they also cut a lot of trails into the area. He had spoke with me about him and his sister riding their dirt bikes around on trails they built and everything. So very much like what we have now. He says living here taught him about nature, respecting life and history, and some of the trees here are very old, and imagine the stories they could tell. And then after high school, his family moved away, but he continued to visit this place every time he was in town and watched it change over the decades. And he says it means so much to see this property turned into a bike park, and he would like to thank City of Iowa City Parks and Rec Department for their hard work. And then he says, let's ride. So we hope you all join us tonight if you brought your bikes, or come out and join us at another time, you know, maybe when not everyone's watching you, go over some of the skills features and whatnot. So yeah, you can walk out tonight too. I would say try to follow still the regular flow, but if you need to walk back against the traffic, just make sure you're cautious of that. And anyone riding tonight will know there may be some people out there. The foundation, as you go in here and to the left, it's not too far kind of up the way, so it'd be an easy kind of walk to see some of the features. So you want to do the cutting now?
Great. So I'm going to have Steve and Nate come up and hold the ribbon. Then I'll have Parks Commission members. Alex Hackman, our Parks Commission chair, is going to hold the scissors with Parks Commission. And I ask that any of our Parks staff, present or prior, and all the Parks Commission members come on up. You want to come up behind, so you're part of the ribbon cutting as well? That'd be great. Come on, Tony, you can come too.
Yeah, can I just say, without the seasonal staff from this year and prior years, this
so
park
commission
wouldn't have
members
been
prior.
possible, the amount of hours and labor that they all put in. There's no way Nate and I could have done it. So they're really the ones who put in a lot of the effort. You should be
Tyler, can
thankful.
you
So.
All right. Do you want to? All right, so we're going to declare the Ice House single track trail open. 1, 2, 3. Thanks again, everyone. And now it's open at your own risk. Have fun.